my dumpster darlings. It's Cooney-Roo, your favorite raccoon, digging through the darkest corners of reality so you don't have to. So cozy up in your favorite trash pile and let's dive right in. At first glance, this looks like another headline about drugs and violence, but look closer and this case becomes something else entirely. A murder inside a family home, courtroom outbursts caught on camera, and a jury faced with a question that still divides public opinions today. Was this pure evil, or a mind completely detached from reality? This is the case of Taylor Denise Schabusiness. Now, before I start, I apologize for any mispronunciation of any name that I might say, and that my sympathy goes out to all the victims that were affected by this case. Alright, with that, let's talk about a little bit about Taylor Schabusiness before the crime. Now, Taylor was actually born in Chicago, Illinois on November 23rd, 1997, with the name Taylor Denise Coronado. Now, Taylor and her family moved to Wisconsin when she was only in the 4th grade. However, Taylor got expelled from school for fighting in her senior year, so after that, she moved to Texas with her grandparents to finish her schooling. Now, throughout her life, Taylor struggled with many mental illnesses and tried to unalive herself multiple times. Now, her mother was an alcoholic and died when Taylor was only 9 years old, and her father was later jailed for sexually assaulting a minor. So not good at all. Her childhood and her life growing up was horrible, and it kind of goes into the nature nurture, where this nurture part was not good and what kind of caused her to spiral down. So I have a little bit of sympathy for the child that had to endure it, because all children are innocent, but I have zero sympathy at all for the adult who committed this crime. Taylor Schabusiness right now deserves her time in jail, and horrible person, not even a person, is a monster. So I have no sympathy for her now, but as a child, this is a tiny bit. But yeah, so on, to cope with her mental illness and just overall horrible life experiences, she decided to self-medicate with methamphetamine after she got off of her prescribed antidepressants. Now, Taylor is also a repeat offender. She once got the cops called on her because of her drug use, and when the cops arrived, she told the police that she just shot up and that she was on a different planet right now. Then she began to kick and scream and attack the officers. So, not a good situation. But let's not forget that Taylor is also married to a man named Warren Schabusiness, and they got married in 2018. Now, in 2020, she changed her name from Taylor Denise Coronado to Taylor Denise Schabusiness. And also, Taylor had a child in 2021. A year before this case happens. So this child was only 1 year old when their mother was doing this. Horrible. Now, to make things less confusing, Taylor's husband got put in jail. Her child was put in the custody and adopted by her grandparents, the ones who lived in Texas. And while her husband was in jail, Taylor started talking to Shad Chiron, the main victim of this case. And it is alleged that they met in high school and they started dating, but when she moved to Texas, they lost touch. And just because they started talking again, this is what caused the case to happen. Now, before I even get into the case, I just want to put a disclaimer and a warning For anybody who is squeamish or is sensitive to any gruesome, gory, unaliving details, like you can't handle any of that, please skip this video. This video also contains sexual violence as well, so if you're also sensitive to that, please, this is a warning, please skip this video. But with that, let's get into it. Alright, so on February 21st, 2022, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, police were called out to a very disturbing and gruesome sight. The mother of Shad Theron, again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, entered the home that she shared with her son Shad like it was any normal day, but what awaited her in the basement was horrifying. Shad's mother found her son's disembodied head and genitalia in a bucket. My heart just breaks for his poor mother and, of course, Shad, who is the main victim. But what I'm about to go on is also disgusting and even more inhumane, so please, if you can't handle gruesome scenes, please skip this video. But as police got to the scene, they also found Shad's other body parts and internal organs, but specifically his torso stored in a storage tote. His internal organs and other body parts were found later in backpacks. So Taylor Schabusiness, the monster behind this crime, was not at the scene of the crime when police found the severed head, but they found out that Taylor was the last person who was in contact with Shad, so the police went to Taylor Schabusiness' home, and when they went in to question her, they found dried blood on her shirt, and in her car, they found the remaining body parts in the storage, like in the backpacks on the rear passenger seat of her vehicle. That is horrible and sickening. Like, I don't understand it, because she left the disembodied head and genitalia and torso at Shad's house, but she took the rest with her? Make it make sense. I don't know. But yeah, my heart just goes out to Shad and his mother. It's horrible. But now Taylor, she allegedly admitted to strangling Shad with metal chains while they were having relations, while they were both intoxicated, had methamphetamines and prescription drugs in their systems. Even though Taylor said this wasn't the first time that choking was involved while they were having relations, this was the first time she used metal chains and continued until he unfortunately passed. However, Taylor also goes on to say that she also continued to have relations with Shad's body after dismembering and removing his internal organs. That is truly sick and monstrous behavior. So with that, Taylor was charged with unaliving a person, mutilation of a deceased body, and third-degree sexual assault on March 1st, 2022. But during court, Taylor's attorney, Quinn Jolly, submitted a not guilty by reason of insanity plea. And while Taylor was being evaluated by the therapist, to see if she really was sane or if she was insane, Taylor was apparently obsessed with a notorious serial killer from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If any of you can guess who that was, well, you were right. It was Jeffrey Dahmer. And Taylor said that she recently went on a date with Jeffrey. Even though Jeffrey has been deceased for 29 years since this case took place. Like, come on. I personally, and for legal reasons, allegedly believe she did that to fully try and cement her status for the insanity plea and prove that she really was insane. But to go on February 14th, 2023, Taylor attacked her attorney, Quinn Jolly, for requesting her trial date be pushed back so experts could determine her competency to stand trial. I'll play the video for you.
We're off the record.
Taylor really did scream WrestleMania when she attacked her attorney, Quinn Jolly, in court. Obviously, she didn't get very far because, you know, the police officers did their job and attacked her before she could even harm Quinn Jolly. But due to the attack, Quinn Jolly totally removed themselves as her attorney and was replaced by Christopher Froelich. Which, good for Quinn Jolly. I would not want to represent Taylor at all if she attacked me, and I'm surprised that Taylor even had an attorney after that, because, like, that's crazy. But Taylor was bound by handcuffs and shackles to a wheelchair, so she couldn't attack anybody else in that courtroom. So on September 26th, 2023, Taylor was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole, which, good. But however, recently in 2025, Taylor tried to overturn her sentencing and get a retrial.
Taylor Schabusiness officially drops her current appeal for a first-degree murder conviction in Brown County. In a handwritten letter to the Court of Appeals today, she was convicted and sentenced to life without parole for the 2022 murder of Shad Therian. Schabusiness submitted this letter to the court asking to dismiss a report from her former attorney. He argued that Schabusiness has no standing to appeal and asked for and received removal from her case. In the letter, Schabusiness asked for more time to file a new post-conviction motion. The Wisconsin Court of Appeals already ruled Schabusiness remains solely responsible for any filings in this case going forward. She cannot use any state-appointed counsel.
That backfired pretty badly, because she was caught making a phone call where she exposed and admitted to everything that she did to Shad.
Taylor Schabusiness tells all.
I sucked his and cut his head off at the same time because the only SD that I would ever be doing would be sucking.
With that, justice was served, and Taylor is going to be spending the remainder of her life in prison with no chance of parole, which I think is great. I mean, my heart goes out to both Shad, the victim of this case, his mother who found her own son in that state in her own basement, and even to the police officers who had to witness this truly gruesome, heinous sight. So my heart and my sympathy goes out to every victim in this case. And there is a special place in hell for Taylor Schabusiness and people who do exactly what she does. Well, that's another case dug up, my dumpster darlings. Some things we talked about tonight were unsettling and disturbing. However, if you want more messy, strange, and disturbing cases, don't forget to subscribe and comment what case you want to see me dig up next. Until next time, keep your snacks close, your trash piles closer, and I'll see you in the next video.